My family stole $200,000 with a fake charity, so I sent their tax returns to the FBI. I reported my own family to the FBI and the IRS because their charity was a vending machine that only dispensed Disney trips, rent money, and acrylic nails. The smoking gun? Their public tax forms listed me as treasurer. Precious. My mailbox started getting IRS letters like I'd subscribed to Fraud Monthly, and suddenly, I'm the face of a church bake sale that never baked a thing. We're talking 990 filings yelling in Helvetica, Venmo trails labeled bridesmaid dress, and a donor list featuring one very enthusiastic ghost. Stakes? Jail time? Family war? And me not trying orange as a jumpsuit color. This isn't vibes. This is receipts. If you've ever caught someone you love lying with confidence, welcome. I've got airtight proof, zero ambiguity, and the cleanest legal hit you can deliver without hiring a hitman. Spoiler, Karma itemized everything, and it added a tip. Nice family, nice charity, big lie. The pitch shows up wearing a halo and scented like cinnamon guilt. We're starting a charity to help local families pay bills, tax deductible, community. God smiles. My aunt beams like a lighthouse. My cousins nod in unison like dashboard bobbleheads. I'm the techie relative who knows how to reset the Wi-Fi, so obviously I become our website guy. I toss in a small donation, spin up a cute one-page site with a donate button, and they slide one little form across the table. Just to make it legit, they say. We need a treasurer on paper. It's basically honorary. Honorary, like a decorative throw pillow. Useless but photogenic. They start posting photos, ribbon cuttings with no ribbon, glossy graphics, stock children laughing in 4K sunshine. Comments pour in. So proud of you. Our town needed this. Do I personally know a single beneficiary? No. But hey, it's early. I keep my mouth shut and keep resizing their logo like it owes me rent. Then the wobbles. Can you put the hotel on your card? We'll reimburse Friday. We need raffle baskets. Float it and we'll settle up. My cousins talk like payday lenders with a Canva subscription. Reimbursements, pending, processing, waiting on the check run, bank holiday, Mercury's in retrograde. My spreadsheet starts side-eyeing me. I'm out a few hundred, then 1,000. And then it happens. An IRS letter arrives addressed to me, care of the charity, at my actual home. I open it, and there's our little honorary adventure, now wearing government font. My name, big as life, as treasurer. Treasurer of what, exactly? The vibes? I text the group, why is the IRS writing to me? Reply, oh, that's just how they do it. You're fine. The kind of reassurance you give a guy on a sinking ship with a straw. Red flags start buzzing. Reimbursements turn into a long-distance relationship. Soon, next week, you're on the list. The list must be in Narnia because money never appears. Meanwhile, the group chat is celebrating imaginary parades. Raised $20,000 this month. Cool. Then why is there accidental airdrop showing $4,112 and a grocery purchase? I ask, and they hit me with different account. Right, the magical account where math goes on vacation. Checks roll in made out to the charity. Deposit screenshot straight into a cousin's personal account by mistake. By mistake? That's 10 taps and your Face ID. Silent auction winners are silent forever. Who won the spa basket? The void. Who picked up the signed football? Teleported, apparently. I ask for the annual report. They send a Canva graphic with a pie chart labeled impact and slices like hope, community, and smiles. No numbers, no names, just vibes and a watermark. I reply, can we have the actual numbers? They send a PDF so blurry it qualifies as modern art. Events start time traveling. We host a back-to-school bash on Saturday, except Venmo donations labeled back-to-school hit their phones 2 days earlier. I see Zelle memos from the charity account to board members with messages like rent, Disney, and bridesmaid dress. I ask, who's the beneficiary named Disney? Crickets. I DM Mickey. He leaves me on read. We rent the church basement twice. I swing by to drop flyers, and the pastor smiles like a man who's seen things. You again? You never rent this space. So we're holding invisible events at imaginary venues with pretend invoices. The math becomes a horror movie. The more I look, the more the walls bleed. I try a soft ask. Hey, can we do a real annual report with line items? The chat turns into a gaslight convention. You don't trust family? Why are you attacking us? We're volunteers. I'm like, so am I. Except I didn't volunteer to star in Money Laundering, Family Edition. Then I Google the EIN. Surprise! The charity exists, and the state registry lists me as treasurer. Not honorary. Legal. Also uploaded. Board minutes signed by me. I did not attend those meetings, unless there's a multiverse where I love.
Crime and potato salad. HQ address?
My cousin's split level with a trampoline. Board roster? Mostly family, plus one friend whose official title is Vibes. Filings are late. Disclosures missing. The red flags aren't buzzing. They're throwing a parade with matching shirts. I text the group, why do the minutes have my signature? Typing bubbles. We used a stamp to save time, a stamp of my name. Where'd you get it? The Crime-A-Lot gift shop. I ask for a photo of the stamp. They send a pic of a desk, a succulent, and absolutely no stamp. The succulent looks concerned. I realize if a Form 990 exists, it's public. If it's public, I can pull it. If I can pull it, either I'm paranoid or the receipts are about to do a tap dance in loafers. Time to dig. The paper trail I wasn't supposed to see. I start with the IRS site like I'm checking the weather, except the forecast is criminal with a chance of handcuffs. I punch in the charity name, and there's the EIN waving like a tiny red flag at a parade I didn't buy tickets to. Tax-exempt status, active. Determination letter, real. My name, treasurer, not mascot, not friend of the vibes. Treasurer, as in, hi, I'm legally responsible for your nonsense. Next stop, the state registry, America's finest websites built on toasters. Filings, late but present. Principal office, my cousin's split level with the trampoline and the grill that only knows char. Board roster, aunt as president, cousin as CEO of absolutely nothing, and me as the human shield. Then I see it, board minutes. I click, and boom, my signature is loop-de-looping like a toddler holding a crayon with ambition. I did not loop those loops. That night, I was eating dumplings and watching a shipwreck documentary because I am hot like that. The minutes read like fan fiction. Unanimous vote to expand program spend. Unanimous vote to hire marketing consultant. Unanimous implies I was there nodding like a bobblehead, which I was not. There's even a cute typo in my address, apartment number off by 1, like crimes wearing a mustache. The files have timestamps that line up perfectly with girls' night selfies. Multitasking, I guess. I text, hey, why does this have my signature? Bubbles. Then, we used a stamp to save time. A stamp of my name? What is this, fraud emoji? Send me a photo. They send a photo of a desk, a succulent, and absolutely no stamp. The succulent looks like it wants a witness protection program. So if they filed anything real, there's a Form 990 out there, and 990s are public. Public as in, click, download, scream into a towel. I make a folder on my desktop called Nope. Inside, 990 Hunt, Forged Follies, and a subfolder titled I Hate All of You, but Professionally. I hop to ProPublica's Nonprofit Explorer like it's Netflix for nerds. Boom, PDFs. Candid has copies too, years, attachments, schedules. Enough to give me a migraine and a personality change. I pause and do the internal check. Am I paranoid? Or are the receipts about to Riverdance? My stomach votes Riverdance. I stop speaking in the group chat because every word feels like stepping on a rake. I start screen recording my search path like a low-budget true crime host. Here we see the rare 990 EZID in its natural habitat. I pull the first return, whisper a prayer to the god of straight lines and not round numbers, and open it. Public filings don't lie. The 990 EZID opens and immediately slaps. Total revenue is a round number that matches their Instagram brag exactly, which is not how math behaves in nature. Program service expenses, also round, like they paid with peppermints. Then Schedule O hits me with emergency assistance to 5 families and community workshops. Which families? The ones in Narnia? They claim privacy like it's a cloaking device. Privacy is fine, invisibility is not. Vendor payments list, consulting, Community Outreach LLC. Guess who owns it? The board friend whose official title is Vibes, round amounts with no contract attached. There's a box asking if officers receive payments not on W-2 or 1099. They check no, like it's a mood. Schedule L, where related transactions go to live their truth, looks like a desert. Tumbleweeds. Not a single disclosure, even though their Zelle history is basically good morning, here's rent. Fundraising costs read like a telethon host. They claim event expenses triple the venue rate. Too bad the pastor told me we never rented to you, with the confidence of a man holding a ledger and a grudge. Raffle prizes equal the value of items that never left a folding table. Who won the spa day? The Void had great skin. Donor acknowledgments in their annual summary include people I know. I text one, did you donate $5,000? She sends back MAONO, no, with a $50 screenshot. Another donor is my late math teacher, a generous man in life and apparently generous in the afterlife. Unless heaven has ACH, we've got a problem. The bank balance roll forward doesn't. Match their own Facebook totals. Spring Gala claims $70,000. The 990 says we barely covered Costco pretzels after expenses. Those expenses again: marketing, outreach, transportation. Translation: acrylics, brunch, gasoline for vibes. There's a checkbox: grants to individuals? They mark yes, then list zero details. Real nonprofits keep records: who, why, how much, eligibility. This one keeps vibes. Officer compensation shows zero salaries, but reimbursements in travel and other sum to a modest paycheck. It's the classic trick: don't pay yourself, reimburse your life. Schedule G says no professional fundraisers, yet consulting fees line up with campaign weeks like synchronized swimming. The cherry: books and records contact is me, my name, my email, my phone. So when the IRS wants to kiki, they call my house like I'm customer service for FraudMart. I pull another year's 990 and the pattern hums: round numbers, invisible conflicts, program descriptions vague enough to embroider on a pillow. Secretary swaps mid-year with no note. My signature pops again like a cursed jump scare. If there's a stamp, it's getting its steps in. I cross-check dates with their posts. The winter coat drive ran 6 weeks online. The 990 compresses it into one event with oddly convenient net proceeds that would buy maybe 6 sleeves. They claim in-kind donations from a local store valued like we outfitted a militia. I call the owner. He says, 2 boxes of socks. We're out here inflating socks like it's crypto. I start annotating like a petty TA. I circle consulting, community outreach LLC $9,000 and write board friend LLC. I highlight no on schedule L and write girl. I flag facilities rental and staple the pastor's "we never met her" statement. I add sticky notes in my soul: Disney memo, bridesmaid dress memo, rent memo. I am a museum of fraud with captions. To be sure I'm not losing it, I email the group: forms have errors, we need to amend. They reply, our CPA approved. I say, name. They say, private. A private CPA who doesn't do email and consults exclusively by vibes and moonlight. Magical. I forward the 990s to a folder titled Prosecution Starter Kit and add a tab called Yikes. It lists related party payments undisclosed, donors misreported, events imaginary, bankroll forward mismatched, forged minutes, me as human voicemail. Every time I think I found the bottom, there's a basement full of folding chairs. And here's the part where I finally feel it. Not anger, not even shock, just that heavy click of certainty. That tiny voice that's been whispering, please be wrong, takes off its coat, sits down and says, you're not. I wanted to be paranoid. I wanted to be dramatic. Instead, I'm correct. And that's worse, because now I have to do something. The 990 doesn't yell, it deadpans. It lets you trip over your own lies in Times New Roman. So I close the last PDF, take a breath, and admit the obvious. If I can read this, the IRS can read this, the state can read this, and the bank that just noticed Disney on a memo can read this. Public filings don't lie. People do. And they put my name on their lie like a bow. The money map, Venmo, Zelle, and a church basement. I start with my bank because at least one of us respects math. 6 months of statements, filtered by charity, aunt, cousin, and that cursed EIN. Then I line them up against their Instagram event calendar, which is basically clip art with dates. The universe laughs immediately. Donations labeled Back to School Bash hit on Thursday. The bash is Saturday. Either we're time travelers or someone preheated the fraud. Venmo is a confession booth with emojis. October 12th, payment to charity coordinator, memo, raffle baskets. October 14th, Zelle from the charity account to a board member, memo, bridesmaid dress. Community outreach, but make it chiffon. 2 days later, there she is on Instagram twirling at a wedding like philanthropy sponsored the bouquet toss. Next line, Zelle to another board member labeled rent. I believe in housing people. I don't believe in calling your own lease local family. The address on the memo, his apartment. Then a Venmo to an outside account, Disney deposit. The only program that went to Disney was the board, #earned it. Cinderella has never issued a grant letter. Goofy doesn't do acknowledgments. I pair each donation post with deposits like a petty sommelier. Winter Coat Drive hits $4,300 by Thursday, according to their stories. Sunday bank deposit, $2,100. Memo, miscellaneous fundraising. Did the coats molt? Did the other $2,000 evaporate because it saw ethics? Now the church basement. They bragged about renting it twice. I stop by to drop flyers, and the pastor gives me a smile that says, bless your heart, and also no. We never booked them, he says, and flips a ledger older than my aunt's recipes. We are not on it. Also, if money had arrived, I'd remember. It didn't. The 990 shows. Facility rental. Big enough to borrow the Vatican, But sure, we forgot to bring the chairs. Payment app memos are the lazy villain's diary. Gas to pick up donations on a day their feed shows a winery flight and a caption, "Donations to my sanity." Storage unit, which turns out to be my cousin's garage, lovingly nicknamed The Warehouse, featuring 54 plastic bins of Christmas and 1 treadmill in witness protection. Donor screenshots don't match deposits either. A woman sends $500 on Friday. The bundled deposit on Wednesday is $300 with the memo left over after expenses. What expenses? Emotional support? Meanwhile, a $150 check from a retiree hits the cousin's personal account by mistake. What a long mistake. Routing, account number, Face ID, submit, thumbs up selfie. I build the spreadsheet nobody wants. Columns for claimed, received, memo, actual use, post evidence, discrepancy. The actual use column becomes a roast. Margarita flight, nails, gala prep. Parking at stadium, youth outreach equals football. I am curating a museum called Crimes of Convenience. To be fair, one transfer says family in crisis. I look for a matching story, a quiet photo, a thank you DM. The only crisis that week is cousin's volleyball team losing semifinals. She posted devastated. I log it under athletic grief, not fiscal need. The Disney deposit keeps winking. I check flight confirmations against the charity account outflow. Perfect alignment. The board's Orlando photos are basically exhibit stickers. Caption, "We deserved a break." From what? Accountability? Budgeting? Patterns crystallize. Money in a round hype. Money out to personal accounts with cute memos. Lag between promise and deposit like a teenager's homework. Due Friday. Turned in Sunday. Says printer broke. Silent auction items reappear on cousin's Etsy. Raffle winners are vapor. The Venn diagram of life and nonprofit is a pancake. I stop asking for explanations. Every memo is a subpoena wearing a sticker. I grab one last check, the church rental line on the 990, the pastor's email, and the payment app trail that spells rent, Disney, bridesmaid. It's not a puzzle. It's fridge magnets that say, indict me. I shut the spreadsheet and feel that click again. I'm mapping a siphon. I'm not outing a mistake. And they stamp my name on the gas can. Quiet confrontations go nowhere. I start polite, like a customer returning a cursed blender. Hey, can you send the receipts? 10 minutes later, I get a PDF photographed through a sock. It's diagonal, cropped, and features a very confident thumb. Vendor line says, wall. Walgreens? Walmart? Wall of denial? I reply, uncropped, please. They resend the same file rotated 90 degrees with the subject. Better? I say, full receipt. They say, we're volunteers, like scanning is a salaried skill. Next question, what's the CPA's name? Aunt goes, our CPA approved everything. Great. Who? He's private. A private CPA who doesn't believe in email, sunlight, or accountability. I'll call him, I say. He doesn't do phones, she says, so he's a mime. I propose coffee, neutral ground. They show up late, smelling like expensive candles and defensive optimism. I slide a printed 990 across. This says consulting, community outreach LLC for $9 grand. That's your friend's LLC. Cousin blinks. That was outreach. Show me the contract. It was verbal. So were the 10 commandments until somebody brought a tablet. I point to a Zelle memo. Who is bridesmaid dress? Aunt sips. Networking event. At St. Anthony's? I say. The only spirits there are in the homily. Cousin tries a pivot. Why are you attacking us? I'm reading your captions, I say. They do most of the attacking. I ask for bank access as treasurer since apparently that's me. They promise Friday. Friday becomes folklore. I ask for board minutes. They hand me another forged set like a gift bag from CrimeCon. We used a stamp, they repeat. Where's the stamp? I ask. It's put away, they say. Like accountability, I say. They threaten gently. We can replace you retroactively. Time travel governance, I nod. Cute. Also, forgery is a felony. Cousin puffs up. Defamation. I slide my exhibits index across the table. Truth with screenshots, my favorite genre. Back in the chat, I try one last kindergarten ask. Let's do a real annual report. Line items, redacted names, totals. The room becomes a gaslight convention. You hate family. You're jealous. You don't understand nonprofits. I understand Disney on a memo, I say. Is Cinderella a program? An email arrives from familycounselhelp@gmail. Signature block, general counsel. The voicemail greeting says, you've reached the vibe line. I save it as exhibit, LOL, and respond, please copy your bar number. They reply with a Bible verse. They send a point zip titled proof. Inside, screenshots of their own posts, a JPEG of a sunrise with integrity in cursive, and one receipt for muffins last year. I reply, documents, not vibes. Aunt calls, voice trembling. Sweetie, you've always been sensitive. About crime? Yes, she whispers. Don't say that on the phone. The ficus is listening. Their final offer. We'll make you whole if you walk this back. Restitution goes to donors, not me, I say. And the facts don't unfact. Cousin tries a bribe rebrand. A goodwill gesture. I prefer lawful gestures. I end the call parade with boundaries. All communications in writing. Preserve records. No surprise visits. Any threats forwarded to investigators? They test it immediately. We're coming over. Enjoy the sidewalk, I text, attaching a preservation notice like a party invite. Then I go full clerk of court on my own life. I notarize a statement. Not at meetings, not approving, not looping those cursed loops. I email revocation of consent, certified mail, return receipt, green card drama. I rename the family thread Legacy Drama, mute it, and drag their latest We're Learning apology into a folder called Syllabus Crime 101. Quiet confrontations didn't fail. They documented themselves failing. Perfect. Now I can stop asking nicely and start sending links. Building the dossier. I open a blank spreadsheet like I'm starting a gratitude journal, except today I'm grateful for metadata. Columns spawn fast. Date, claim, amount in, amount out, memo, actual use, proof link, sanity check. I color code like a tropical bird. Green is real, yellow is girl, red is lawyer up. By row 15, it looks like a toucan lost a fight with Excel. I build a timeline so clean it could pass food safety. January, vision board brunch. Claim, $2,000. Bank, $1,050. Outflow, $220 gas, $140 nails. Gala prep, $300 storage unit, which is a garage the family calls the warehouse like they're Amazon with vibes. February, emergency rent assistance. Beneficiary address, board member's apartment. Payee memo, rent. March, coat drive. Stories brag, $4,300. Deposit, $2,100. Discrepancy, coats apparently evaporated in the dryer. Screenshots get museum tags. I name files like a petty librarian. 2023, 10 Viddish 14 underscore bridesmaid dress underscore board doll to PNG. 2023, 11 Doker 3 underscore FB post underscore coat drive underscore claim 430. PNG 2023 Desige 12B AG 2023 Descripti. I add little notes for future me. You're not crazy. They are. Breathe. I back up to the cloud under the world's most boring title, 2016 underscore warranties underscore final. If my cousins snoop, they'll fall asleep. I start calling donors like a polite debt collector. Quick question. Did you give 5,000? One laughs. I gave 50 and a hug. I log it. Another sends a screenshot of her $125 with the caption, wish it was more. The annual summary had her at $1,250, which is math if you add a zero and a lie. A retired teacher's widow messages, he loved your cause. He passed in 2022. I write afterlife ACH implausible and stare at a wall. Beneficiaries are a scavenger hunt written by cowards. We helped 5 families, the post says. Okay, which 5? DMs vanish. One rumor turns into my friend's cousin's neighbor, which is not a family so much as a folklore creature. The only confirmed aid I find is groceries bought during a BOGO. Their generosity rides on Publix promotions. Policy time. I pull the state ag site and paste statutes into a doc called Rules We Ignored. Registration required? Nope. Contracts for paid consultants? Also no. Conflict of interest policy? Our policy was don't get caught while buying acrylics. I add a crosswalk chart. Statute on left, receipts on right, vibes in the trash. Forged minutes get their own runway. I print them in color, circle my loopy signature like it's a crime scene curl, and line it up next to my real signature, which does not cosplay as spaghetti. I take the stack to a notary. She peers over her glasses like an aunt I actually respect and stamps with the gravitas of a judge on finale night. Because Spite is a productivity tool, I compile an exhibits index. Exhibit A, timeline spreadsheet, the toucan. Exhibit B, 990s with annotations and spicy highlights. Exhibit C, payment app memos, Disney, bridesmaid, rent. Exhibit D, pastor statement and ledger. Exhibit E, donor confirmations with screenshots. Exhibit F, forged minutes and signature comparison with notarized, not me. Exhibit G, communications, gaslight sampler. Exhibit H, state statute crosswalk. Exhibit F, my consent revocation and preservation letters with tracking numbers and green cards that scream, "You got served." I record a quick screen walk like a broke David Attenborough. Here we observe the rare Disney deposit migrating from the nonprofit habitat to Orlando. I narrate calmly because rage breathes heavy on mic. I toss the video into 3 different clouds, a hard drive, and an email to myself titled, "If found, please prosecute." Every 30 rows, I add a punchline to keep myself from crying. Under Consulting, Community Outreach LLC, I write Consulting on Brunch. Selection? Next to Storage Unit, I write Garage with Delusions. Beside Anonymous Donor 10K, I add Anonymous says hi. She gave $100. Then the crack in the dam? Mr. Vibes emails from his work address, subject line, "I can't sleep." He forwards a thread titled, "Move money off books," with genius lines like, "Don't put names in writing." I reply with a gentle, "Forward to investigators directly, preserve everything," and copy an inbox labeled compliance like it's a lullaby. Final polish. I strip jokes from the formal packet because comedy is for YouTube, not subpoenas. I keep the screenshots, dates, hashes. I add a cover memo. Summary of patterns, commingling, undisclosed related party payments, false donor attributions, forged board minutes, non-existent events, personal reimbursements inconsistent with mission. I attach my notarized statement again because I love that stamp like caffeine. I zip, check some, back up twice, and print a hard copy that weighs as much as regret. The folder's label is quiet and final. Documentation, complete and contemporaneous. I close the lid, pat the toucan spreadsheet, and feel the click one more time. This isn't drama anymore. It's evidence wearing its good shoes. Filing day. Clicks that change everything. I brew courtroom coffee and open IRS Form 13909 like it's a confession booth with checkboxes. Line 12 wants the who, what, where, when, how. I give it the novella. Who is Aunt Lighthouse, the Canva cousins, and Mr. Vibes? What is self-dealing, forged minutes, Disney philanthropy? Where is state registry, 990s, Venmo? When is a year of Friday? How is careless with captions? Attachments? Exhibit toucan through exhibit please stop. I zip the folder. My computer names it final_2.zip because even Windows knows families lie. I check the acknowledge receipt box like I'm signing a guest book at Justice. Send. Whisper. Enjoy. State AG portal next. Designed by a toaster, but blessed by law. I select charitable solicitation misconduct, paste statutes, and season with quotes like, "We never rented to them," courtesy of Pastor Ledger. Uploads go in. I add preservation language. Do not delete, alter, or pretend your phone swan dived into a lake. Submit. FBI IC 3 time. The page coughs up a ticket number that looks like a Wi-Fi password and a threat. Category: charity/disaster fraud with payment apps wearing clown wigs. I keep it dry. Dates, dollars, routing paths, device IDs. No jokes, just geometry. I include the bridesmaid memo because if you're gonna sin, don't annotate. Submit. Complaint ID appears like a tiny metal badge for my inbox. Now certified letters. Cease and desist your use of my name. Remove me everywhere. Preserve all records. And please don't microwave your phones by accident. I mail them with return receipts because nothing says season finale like a green postcard your aunt must sign while rethinking cinnamon guilt. I forward copies to the bank's compliance email with a polite, deposits labeled charitable appear to land in personal accounts. Public service is my love language. Then silence. 3 minutes where even my succulent holds its breath. The first vibration hits. Unknown caller. Another. Aunt. Cousin. Urgent. Call now. I let the ringtone play the song of consequences. A text lands. Take it back. I reply with my exhibits index PDF like an Uno reverse. Defamation. They try. Exhibit F says hello. I send, featuring my forged signature in clown shoes. Dings arrive from grown-ups. The IRS auto. We received your information. We cannot discuss. Beautiful boundaries. The AG portal. Ticket confirmed. Investigator assigned initials that sound like a superhero. IC3. Thank you. Don't expect updates unless needed. Translation. Sit down and hydrate. I forward family messages to a folder labeled Post-Filing Communications because I believe in continuity. I rename the group chat Legacy Drama and hit mute so hard my phone exhales. Bank email drops in like a librarian shushing. We've restricted certain transactions pending review. Provide updated signatories and records. I sip. Somewhere, a debit card just wept at a gas pump. Aunt reply alls in caps. We are a small charity. The bank answers with a PDF titled Enhanced Due Diligence, which is HR for money. Show policies, minutes, conflicts, and explain how Disney qualifies as a 501c3. Doorbell. Green postcards return like homing pigeons, signed. I scan them, label them, slide them into Exhibit 1, and feel the tiniest, pettiest joy. Preservation notice copies go out to their emails again for flavor. Last clicks. Fraud alerts on my credit. Password changes to sentences only my therapist would applaud, and a lock on every account like I'm winterizing a cabin. I close the laptop. Somewhere across town, a cousin is discovering the word hold at a branch desk, while a banker smiles with only her eyes. My succulent looks taller. I take a breath I didn't know I was renting and let the inbox do the talking. The fallout starts fast. Day 2 opens like a telenovela shot in a bank lobby. Aunt Lighthouse calls, voice wobbly like Jell-O at a picnic. We can fix this. Fix what? The receipts. She speed runs excuses. Misunderstanding, volunteer burnout, retrograde Mercury, haters. I say, banks aren't haters. They're calculators with doors. She pivots to prayer. Let's pray this away. I already prayed and attached exhibits. Refunds start hitting donors like popcorn kernels. Random $50 here with a heart emoji. $125 there labeled oops. A $500 accounting cleanup, which is just admission in a party dress. Donors DM me screenshots like it's a happy hour. I drag each into the toucan and color them coral. Panic refund. A woman writes, they returned $20 and said, our bad with a sparkle. Sparkle is not a legal defense. Cousin the litigious emails a demand letter in Comic Sans. Threats of defamation, claims of harm, 0 citations. I reply with my exhibits index because my love language is pagination. CB, CF, I type. He types, deletes, types, deletes, lands on. We have counsel. Bar number? I ask. Silence so loud my phone blushes. Then the church enters with a mic drop. Pastor Ledger posts.
We were never partnered with charity name. No events were hosted. Moms with memories appear like Avengers. Didn't you say the basement was booked? I brought muffins for nothing. Someone posts the empty basement photo from the alleged gala. One lonely folding chair and a shaft of light. The chair now has a fan club. It comments, I was there more than their receipts. The charity page scrambles and posts a soft, damp apology. Accounting errors, volunteer fatigue, we're learning. Top comment circles consulting. Community Outreach LLC, $9,000 in neon and asks, who's the consultant? Cinderella. Another commenter drops the Zelle Disney deposit with the mouse says hi. The apology drowns under a tide of annotated screenshots. Meme economy booms. Cinderella holding a 990. Mickey with a calculator. My forged signature in clown shoes. The chair gets a parody account. Bio says, I support more than their programs. Reporters sniff the breeze. One calls crisp voice, caffeinated ethics. On record, can you confirm you're listed as treasurer? Public filings list me. I've issued removal notices, I say, boring on purpose. She tries for spice. I hand her vegetables. Refer to the 990. Article drops mid-afternoon. Clinical headline, surgical side-by-sides. Etsy basket versus silent auction basket. Same ribbon, same mug, same audacity. The family group chat detonates. Caps lock, scripture, threats, and also a casserole recipe because Aunt can't compartmentalize. Take down your lies. I didn't post anything. Tell the church to delete. I do not control clergy. You're destroying us, I reply. Schedule L is destroying you. They rename the chat Real Family Only, then accidentally invite me. I rename it Real Consequences Only, then mute it again. A local Facebook group pins a mega thread, timelines, links to the IRS site, ProPublica, and screenshots labeled with teacher energy. People put their donation amounts in a shared doc like a crowdsourced audit. One says, they thanked me for $1,000. I gave $100. Another, I was anonymous, $5,000. Hi, I am not anonymous and I own a 2009 Corolla. A widow comments, my husband died in 2022. Please don't resurrect him as a donor. 10-second silence, then tsunami of side-eye emoji. Banks start humming corporate hymns. A compliance email requests updated signatories, conflict policies, minutes, grant logs, the whole governance charcuterie. The debit card stops working mid-gas pump for cousin. The pump beeps like a smoke detector. Back-channel text lands in my inbox because God loves irony. Can someone pull cash before it all freezes? A minute later, ATM says contact branch. Somewhere, an analyst is highlighting sudden cash withdrawals in pink and whispering, girl, no. The state AG posts a calm notice. We have opened a formal investigation. 10 words that cancel brunch. Employers peek in. Mr. Vibes gets placed on leave. Corporate font doesn't hug. He slides into DMs.
Can we talk off-platform? No. Talk on-platform with a timestamp. Cashier's checks arrive in donors' mailboxes like guilty doves. Odd amounts, $27, 2062, $403, $75. No note, no return address, just apology written in bank paper. Donors map them on a Google Doc like a meteor shower. The amounts mirror my discrepancy column because God is a petty auditor. The charity tries a transparency live on Instagram. Comments flood. Contracts for the consultant? Redacted beneficiaries? Why did the church say no? They answer with flute music. Legal won't let us? Privacy. We're growing. Someone screen shares the 990 next to the Orlando selfie and pins the Disney memo like karaoke lyrics. Live ends mid-sentence. Comments multiply somewhere else. Team admit cousin cracks and posts a Notes app apology. Lowercase for maximum humility. I wanted to help. I was scared of Ant. He attaches emails titled "Move money off books" and no names in writing. The damn leaks. The thread pins his post. A retired CPA arrives like a fairy godmother with a calculator and explains Schedule L in toddler English. If you paid your friend's LLC, you say so. Amen floods the chat. Aunt Lighthouse calls again, whispering, "What if we close it and move on? Dissolve with restitution and a ban from fundraising," I say. And my name off everything. Yesterday. She exhales a sermon. "You used to be sweet." "I still am," I say. "I'm just immune to vibes." By sunset, the website's down. Bios edited to temporarily offline with a dove. Comments disabled everywhere they can reach. Receipts reposted everywhere they can't. The empty chair posts. "Today, I did more charity than they did. I held space." I laugh, file 3 more emails under post filing, and set my phone to do not disturb, except for one contact labeled investigator. Boundaries are the funniest thing I've done all week. Investigators at the door. The knock sounds like adult supervision. I open up to 2 badges and shoes that say, "We iron our lives." They introduce themselves in voices that could read bedtime stories about subpoenas. "We're here about the nonprofit," I say. "Same," and wave them in like I'm hosting a potluck for consequences. They clock the folders, the labeled tabs, the succulent acting like counsel. "You keep good records," the woman says. "Spite is a filing system," I reply. They almost smile. We sit. They turn off their phones like they're going to church. I do the same, because I'm trying to be the person my spreadsheets think I am. They start gentle. "Confirm your role?" "Listed as treasurer by surprise," I say. "Consent revoked, notarized, and sent via green postcard hell." I slide Exhibit F, forged minutes, side by side with my real signature that doesn't cosplay spaghetti. The man leans in. "These loops are confident." "My loops are shy," I say. He grunts. The woman checks the notary stamp like it's vintage wine. "Authentic," she nods. "Board minutes?" I hand over the fan fiction packet. Unanimous votes from meetings I didn't attend. Timestamp during girls' night selfies. Contracts? I pass the imaginary contract. Real money folder. Invoices from Community Outreach, LLC. The Vibe Friends Company. Round numbers that look like they were chosen by darts. "Any deliverables?" "Brunch," I say. The eggs were deliverable. "Programs and beneficiaries?" I open the toucan spreadsheet and let the colors sing. Columns for claimed, amount in, amount out, memo, actual use, proof. I click the bridesmaid dress line and pull up the selfie. The man cough laughs and transforms it into a professional clearing of throat. "Redacted confirmations?" "Crickets," I say. The crickets decline to be named for privacy. They ask about the church rental. I slide the pastor's email and ledger page. "Know us anywhere." Then point to the 990 facility rental that could borrow the Sistine Chapel. The woman writes one word on her pad, "Church." Under it, she writes, "Disney." She underlines both, like they're my family crest. "Any communications we should see?" I hand over the Gaslight sampler. "You hate family. We'll replace you retroactively." Defamation, and my favorite, "Our CPA is private," which I've decided is a cryptid. They read, then ask, "CPA's name?" I shrug. "He does not exist in the wild." They deliver the preservation sermon. "Do not delete, alter, or drown phones in a lake." I nod and slide copies of my certified letter saying exactly that. The man smiles with his eyes. "You sent these before we came?" "I'm punctual," I say. The doorbell rings like a comedic cue, and I swear, the mail brings 3 green postcards. I sign, hand them over like party favors. "Return receipts," I say. The woman says, "Neat," in a tone that means useful at arraignment. They mention bank cooperation and enhanced due diligence. which is corporate for no more gas pumps for cousin. They ask if I've had contact since filing. I show the begging tour. Take it back. We can fix this. Settle with you personally. And my favorite attempted bribe calling itself goodwill. Did you accept funds? I refunded with prejudice, I say. Caption: love honesty. Across town, Aunt Lighthouse must be reenacting a soap opera in a branch lobby because the woman glances at her phone and says, "We're seeing activity." I pour them coffee like it's communion. Cream? Black, they say in harmony. Of course. Then Mr. Vibes slides into my inbox like a plot twist. Subject: I need to clear my conscience. I open it in front of them. Move money off books. Don't put names in writing. And a handy routing instruction screenshot. I forward it to the case email while they watch. The man actually says, "There it is," like he's spotting a comet. They ask about safety. I say, "I'm fine, but Thanksgiving is canceled." They laugh, the kind of laugh you do at a hospital vending machine. "We may need your testimony. Zoom me in my succulent," I say. "We'll blur the plant." They outline next steps like a grocery list. Subpoenas to banks, payment apps, church, interviews, potential consent judgment, possible charges for forgery and wire fraud. They say excess benefit transactions, and somewhere in the ether my cousin Googles with tears. A new email pings. State Ag formal request. Contracts, grant logs, conflict policies, minutes. I drag and drop a mountain into a shared folder titled "Here You Go, Government." The woman nods. This is thorough. Petty scales, I say. I add a joke every 30 rows so I don't cry. The man asks, "What was your favorite?" Anonymous donor says hi. I grin. The family tries a Hail Mary, fresh minutes correcting history and removing me retroactively. They CC everyone, including the investigators now, which is bold. The woman tilts her head. Adorable. I reply all. Per preservation notice, do not alter past records. Also, my signature remains not your sticker. They stand. Cards on the table. Send anything new, the man says. Don't engage. I'm allergic to vibes now, I tend.
Say. The woman eyes my folders, then me. You could teach a class. Syllabus is one slide, I say. Don't put Disney on a memo. The door closes, quiet and heavy. A text lands from Aunt. Family meeting at 7. I reply, all communications in writing. I attach the preservation notice like confetti. She answers, you used to be sweet. I put my hand on the toucan spreadsheet and tell the truth out loud. I still am. I just learned how to laugh and file at the same time. The begging tour. The first call sounds like she's chopping onions next to the phone. We didn't mean harm, Aunt Lighthouse says, as if intent gets store credit. We just needed a bridge. A bridge to Disney? I keep my voice on airplane mode. Put it in writing. She pivots to syrup. Honey, you know I love you. Love refunds with receipts, I say. Click. Prayer hands emoji arrives like a ceasefire flag knitted in denial. Cousin the litigious tries business casual empathy. Let us make you whole if you retract. He says it like I'm a vending machine that ate $1. Restitution goes to donors, not me, and no. He inhales a lawsuit. You're not being reasonable. I color-coded your crimes, I say. That's peak reasonable. Then the gaslight review. You're destroying the family. Schedule L did that. You're making it public. You filed a 990 on the internet, my guy. You're overreacting. You bought a bridesmaid dress with charity money. Beat. It was networking. At St. Anthony's? I ask. Wine is sacrament, not deductible. They try nostalgia warfare. Remember soccer rides? Yes, and apparently I've been paying you back with my credit card. Remember holidays? I remember boundaries. You don't trust us? Correct. That hurts. Subpoenas also sting. A new email lands from Family Council Help with the subject line, goodwill gesture. It's a bribe in a trench coat. A personal settlement if you retract complaints. I reply, translation, hush money, declined. He writes, it's goodwill. Try lawful. It scans better. They craft a script. What if we post a joint statement? Misunderstandings occurred. We're restructuring. You're still treasurer. My treasurer era is over, I say. Also, no. Back channel ambassadors parade through. Neighbor texts. They're hurting. So are donors, I answer. Cousin by marriage. Water under the bridge? There is no bridge. There's a crosswalk called restitution. Use it. I set ground rules like I'm putting toddler locks on a stove. All communication in writing. No calls. No pop-ins. Any threats go straight to investigators. Immediately, ding, we're coming over. Enjoy the sidewalk, I reply, attaching the preservation notice like confetti. They unleash the feelings bundle.
We misallocated funds during a family emergency. Which family? Family, not a category on the 990. We were going to reimburse. With what? The raffle basket you borrowed from your Etsy? People misunderstood our process. Your process is theft with captions. Donors start getting strategic apologies, random Venmo refunds with heart emojis, and our bad. One DM, they sent $75 and asked me not to talk to media. She sent me the screenshot with a lil. I added to the toucan under hush hearts. Team admit cousin calls from a field where kids are screaming like a soundtrack for karma. We messed up, but not like crime messed up. You forged my signature, I say. We were expediting. You stamped fraud? We needed a win. Crime is not a win. They attempt triangulation with God. Aunt whispers, let's pray this away. I prayed and hit submit, I say. Dual path. A PDF arrives, corrected minutes, dated yesterday, removing me retroactively, signed with a new loop that looks like a spaghetti impersonator. I reply, all. Per preservation notice, stop editing history. My signature is not a sticker. Investigator replies with a tidy received. Aunt replies with a Bible verse. I send back a citation from the Attorney General's site. Scripture duel meets statute duel. I win on citations. The bribe rebrand mutates. Cousin the litigious writes, we'll cover your legal fees if you clarify statements. I've been painfully clear, I say, and my legal fees are a dream compared to yours. They try tears again. Family first, Aunt murmurs. Accountability first, I say. Then family can visit on weekends. Someone slips $300 into my account with the memo, we love you. I hit refund like a reflex. I love honesty. Screenshot plus timestamp to the case inbox. Reply from investigator. Thank you. That's my love language now. They send a group invite. Transparency Town Hall. 8 minutes in, someone shares the 990 next to the Orlando selfie and asks, which one is outreach? Meeting ends like a magic trick. Follow-up email says, we'll be engaging an external auditor. I reply, start with a mirror. Final night call, Aunt Lighthouse, voice frayed. What if we just stop, close it, move on, dissolve with restitution ban?
From fundraising for a minute, and my name off everything, I say, today. She exhales history. You used to be sweet. I still am, I tell her. I'm just expensive to lie to. I hang up, file the begging tour under post-filing, and let the silence stretch. Across town, a debit card fails at a gas pump. A cashier's check prints, and somewhere a chair drafts its next tweet. Boundaries hum. My phone stays face down. The only sound is my succulent, growing. The receipts go public. It starts with one post. Anyone else get a random $75 refund? Then the flood. The local Facebook group pins a mega thread so long you need hydration breaks. Top of the pile is a collage. Zelle Memo Disney deposit. A 990 line circled consulting. Community outreach LLC $9,000. And Pastor Ledger's statement bolded, we did not host them. The empty chair photo appears again like a celebrity cameo. The chair is now a local figure. People swap receipts like trading cards. They thanked me for $1,000. Girl, I gave $100 in a cinnamon roll. Anonymous donor gets tagged by her actual name. Hi, I'm not anonymous and I drive a 2009 Corolla. A widow comments, my husband died in 2022. Please stop resurrecting him for your donor wall. The thread pauses in silence, then detonates with side-eye emojis. Screenshots leak from inside the board chat. A slide labeled for optics suggests borrowing cousin's Etsy baskets for the silent auction and reimbursing later. Later is missing, like the winners. Another message, don't list names, just families, with the finger crossed emoji because crime prays. People post their bank screenshots next to the charity's brag posts. Friday donation, $500. Wednesday deposit, $300, leftover after expenses. Commenter asks, were you expensing vibes? A reporter calls, voice sharp and awake. On the record, are you treasurer? Public filings list me. I've issued removal notices, I say. She probes for spice. I hand her vegetables. The article drops anyway, and it's surgical. Side by side, cousin's Etsy cozy vibes basket versus the silent auction basket. Same ribbon, same mug, same audacity. She embeds the 990 in pastor's ledger like a duet. The charity page fires a damp apology balloon. Accounting errors, volunteer fatigue, renewed commitment to transparency. First comment pins the Zelle Disney deposit like karaoke lyrics. Is Cinderella a program now? Another overlays Mickey with a calculator and captions, show me Schedule L. A retired CPA swoops in with a plain English thread. How 990s work, what should be disclosed, and why private CPA is not a mythical creature we accept. She is my new religion. Donors organize. A mom builds a shared spreadsheet titled, Where Did My Money Go? It's the people's ledger.
They list dates, amounts, promised events, and what actually happened. One PTA treasurer writes, "We were listed as recipients. We have no record." Another shows a same-day cash withdrawal equal to her donation. The comments chorus, "Girl." Cashier's checks become a genre. Envelopes without return addresses. Neat bank paper for $127.62, $403, $75. No note, just the sound of a conscience panicking. Folks map them on a Google Doc like meteor sightings. Someone notices multiple banks, identical handwriting, zero apologies. The meme machine eats it. A dove carrying a cashier's check saying, "We're sorry, we're shy." They try a live Q&A. Comments swamp the screen. Contracts for the consultant? Redacted beneficiaries? Why did the church say no? The answers are flute music. Legal won't allow. Privacy. We're learning. Someone screen shares the 990 next to the Orlando selfie and writes, "Outreach" with an arrow. The live ends mid-syllable. Comments relocate and multiply like dandelions. A board member breaks. Notes app confession, lowercase for sorrow. "I wanted to help. I should have said something. I was scared." He attaches emails. "Move money off books and don't include me." The thread pins it. People express rage and relief. He's still complicit, but at least now he's literate. Employers enter with corporate fonts. Effective immediately, employee is on administrative leave pending review. Professional consequences hit harder than memes. Mr. Vibes goes quiet, then starts DMing, "Can we talk off platform?" which is liar for hello. The comments reply with the reporter's article link, the CPA's thread, and a polite no. Then the timeline hits meme velocity. Cinderella holding a 990 like it's midnight. The empty chair tweeting, "I showed up more than their receipts." Pastor Ledger as a Marvel poster. Someone designs a t-shirt mock-up. "Keep the receipts, not the money." It slaps. It also indicts. Meanwhile, my inbox becomes a museum. Volunteers send drives. One folder, minutes draft, don't share. Perfect. Inside, debate about shifting dates so numbers flow. A volunteer writes, "This is wrong." A cousin responds, "We're fixing optics." The file metadata sings. Betrayal. A donor posts her refund with a heart emoji and a DM from the charity asking her to please not engage with media. She writes, "Ma'am, you used my kid's bake sale. I'm engaging." The moms assemble like a PTA Justice League. They plan a real coat drive with the church across town and the terrifying CPA. They invite everyone. Receipts posted weekly. They promise. I tear up. And by tear up, I mean cackle softly. The chair account posts a selfie. "Today, I supported more than their programs." Caption, "Sat still." Comments, icon. Someone asks me privately, "Do you feel bad?" I say, "I feel accurate." Because this isn't vengeance, it's clarity with screenshots. The charity tries one last post. "We will be issuing a full accounting." Top reply, start with "We lied," then list amounts, then resigned. Underneath, "and take down the Etsy." The thread agrees. The internet doesn't forget. It files, it annotates, it pins. The tipping point. Doors close, accounts open. It starts with an email that smells like bleach. Unusual activity identified. Certain transactions restricted pending review. Translation. Your piggy bank met winter. Aunt reply alls in caps. "We are a small charity," like shouting restores overdraft. The bank responds with a PDF titled Enhanced Due Diligence, which is HR for money. Show bylaws, minutes, conflict policy, grant logs, updated signatories, and explain why your debit card thinks Disney is tax exempt. Within an hour, cousin tries to buy gas, and the pump beeps like a dog whistle for shame. Backchannel message leaks into my inbox because irony has a punch card. Can someone pull cash before freeze? The bank, clairvoyant, flags sudden cash withdrawals. An analyst somewhere circles it with a highlighter named Don't. They get one ATM success at dawn, 400, then the machine flips to Contact Branch. The camera got a crisp headshot of panic. The state AG posts a notice that could sedate a rhino. "We have opened a formal investigation." 10 words, ruined brunch. The charity website coughs and goes dark. Instagram bio swaps to temporarily offline with a dove emoji, which is brave for people who forged minutes. Comments don't stop, they migrate. Facebook groups, neighborhood apps, your aunt's text chain, the chair account, everywhere. Employers step in with corporate font that smells like HR. Effective immediately, employee, placed on administrative leave pending review. Mr. Vibes is suddenly Mr. Quiet. He DMs people, "Can we talk off platform?" which is scammer for hello. Replies are screenshots and links. Bless the petty saints. Credit unions start their own choir. A donor's bank calls me to verify whether the gala existed. I say, "Please consult exhibit chair," and send the article link. The banker chuckles, then turns into a robot. "Thank you for confirming." Chargebacks begin evangelizing. People post, "My credit union reversed $200 after I showed the $9.90. Popcorn emoji becomes the town flag. Then the cashier's checks flock. Envelopes with no return address. Crisp bank paper for oddly exact amounts. 127 and 120 quenches 21 head on experienced cars through more time. It's Gator 62, $403, $50. No note, no apology, just hush money without the dignity to hush. Folks map them on a Google Doc like a meteor shower. Bank A, Bank B, twin handwriting. The amounts match my toucan discrepancies because God loves proof. Aunt reply alls again with, "We're making this right." The bank writes, "Please do not reply all to this message." I frame that sentence in my heart. The charity attempts a Zoom transparency town hall, 8 minutes long. Someone pins the 990 next to the Orlando selfie and asks, "Which one is outreach?" Screen goes black. Follow-up email promises external auditor engagement. First comment, "Start with a mirror." Second, "And a calculator." Meanwhile, my inbox pings with a formal records preservation expansion. Now it names personal devices, cloud drives, even third-party messaging apps. I forward it to the family list with the subject important. Within 30 seconds, a cousin post, "Taking a social media break." Investigators are going to crochet with that sentence. The bank escalates from concerned to mom tone. Provide updated board roster, minutes, authorizing signatories, and conflict of interest policy by close of business. Aunt pastes a Bible verse. The banker pastes a checklist. Only one of them can freeze your card. Across town, branches get visitors wearing sunglasses indoors. A teller texts my friend, "Your cousin is here crying in a lobby." I wish the branch well and drink water. The state drops polite thunder. Formal RFI for contracts, receipts, minutes, beneficiaries, and documentation supporting reported related party transactions. They CC compliance and sound like a sleep app. I reply with a neat link called "Here You Go," government, and a note. Signatures on several minutes are forgeries. See Exhibit F. They say, "Received." That single word has gavel energy. Then the domino nobody planned for. The payment app responds to an investigator with corporate joy. We've identified transfers consistent with misuse. Account restrictions applied. Translation: Your Zelle is grounded. The charity's group chat flips to Morse code. Declined? Pending? What do we do? Pray. Pray doesn't clear. A local hardware store posts, "Reminder, our donation was 2 boxes of socks." Their comments are a TED Talk. "In-kind inflation ruins trust." The meme machine drafts a wanted poster. "Have you seen these socks? Fair market value, $8,000. Aunt's final Hail Mary is a Facebook Live in soft lighting. We are heartbroken. A heartbroken debit card tries to buy coffee and gets declined mid-latte. Barista, "Do you have another method?" Caption that, please. The empty chair account posts, "Today I did more than their board. I supported." Photo, chair taped with a bank hold notice. I cackle, then file 3 more emails in post-filing communications. Because joy without documentation is just cardio. By evening, pressure has texture. Website gone, bios neutered, account stiff, employers alert, government awake, donors organizing, banks humming. I pour tea like evidence and read the last note of the day. Failure to provide governance documents may result in account closure. I forward it to the family with a single line. Send minutes, not verses. Aunt types, deletes, types, deletes. No reply. I tell my succulent the truth. Doors are closing, accounts are opening, but not the way they hoped. And somewhere, a cashier's check dove circles, looking for a mailbox that still believes in magic. Consequences. Land with interest. The first envelope arrives looking expensive, like it moisturizes. Demand for accounting, restitution, and records. It uses hereby twice and therefore 3 times, which is adult for "we're serious." Aunt reply alls, "Is this legit?" I say, "It's printed on paper thick enough to stop a lie." 14 days to list beneficiaries, show receipts, propose payback. Not prayback. Payback. Then the IRS slides in with vocabulary that makes cousins Google while crying. Intermediate sanctions and excess benefit transactions. Translation in human. You ate from the pot. Now pay back the stew plus a spicy tip. Cousin texts, "What's excess benefit?" I say, Remember bridesmaid dress? The IRS does now. He sends 9 skull emojis and a photo of the tax code like it's a horror novel. The state ag emails a draft consent judgment that reads like a breakup with bullet points. Dissolve the charity, restitution to donors, ban from fundraising for a timeout, independent monitor if you ever touch a jar again, and the classic no admission of wrongdoing, which is legal for you did it, but fine. Aunt whispers, we can negotiate. Cool, I say. Open with Disney isn't a 501c3. Solo Consequences spin up, starring Cousin the Litigious. He gets charged with forgery and wire fraud because apparently the state also noticed my signature cosplaying spaghetti. The filing quotes electronic communications and interstate solicitation and basically reads like Exhibit F ate its Wheaties. He posts innocent until proven guilty and disables comments when people reply with my forged loops and clown shoes. The bank finishes its glow up from concerned to mom voice. Accounts restricted, historical transactions under review, possible closure pending documentation. Aunt emails a verse. The bank emails a checklist and a deadline. Guess which one freezes your debit card? Cousin tries to buy coffee. The card declines mid-foam. Barista asks, another method? He tries prayer. The machine says beep. My favorite administrative exfoliation arrives. My name gets vacuumed off everything. Secretary of State updates to show I don't live there anymore. IRS changes books and records contact. Bank drops me from signatories so hard I hear confetti in my soul. I print the page that says Treasurer, vacant, and tuck it into a folder called Freedom. Demand letters multiply like rabbits with clipboards. Leave it empty like the church basement. Donors get individualized notices. Confirm dates, amounts, expect restitution schedule. The schedule looks like a student loan payment plan for people who shop with other people's money. Some donors write, give it to an actual family. The AG replies, cute, but it's evidence. Evidence first, generosity later. Aunt forwards an IRS letter asking for grant records, receipts, minutes, conflict policies. Do we have a conflict policy? She asks. Yes, I say. Don't get caught. She sends a sad face. The IRS sends a time limit. One of those delivers consequences. Cousin the Litigious sends me a Word doc titled Proposal. Passive voice is doing CrossFit. Funds were inadvertently redirected. Signatures were misunderstood. Outreach included morale. I track changes it like a petty professor. Inadvertently becomes we did. Misunderstood becomes forged. Morale becomes bridesmaid dress. I return it with, now it reads. The consent judgment rolls toward a judge with the calm of a glacier. The family drafts a statement. We're proud of what we built. I suggest, we lied. We're sorry. We're paying everyone back. We resign. Cinderella was not a beneficiary. They pick none of my edits and wonder why the comments roast them on low heat. Penalties start nibbling like piranhas. Excess benefit taxes on the consulting to Community Outreach LLC, interest attaching like lint you can't pick off. They ask the IRS for a payment plan. The IRS invents payment plans. They just don't accept muffin credits. Then a very boring miracle. A letter that says my removal is complete, no further obligation, records updated. It is so dull it shines. I tape it to my mental fridge. Piece tastes like laser-printed toner. Family tries one more group chat respawn. We're moving forward as a family. I reply, move forward with receipts. They eject me like a virus. I
Feel lighter than the truth. The judge signs. The listing flips to dissolved. A digital tombstone. The website evaporates. Bios collapse. Donation links 404. The chair tweets, I outlived them. The pastor posts, we'll host the new coat drive with verified partners. The terrifying CPA volunteers pro bono and names the fund something boring on purpose, like Stability Fund. Spicy is for YouTube. Boring is for bank accounts. I send 3 emails titled Remove, my name. They bounce back with completed. I close my laptop, pat the toucan spreadsheet, and finally let the laugh out. Not mean, relieved. The jokes kept me sane. The receipts did the work. And when karma arrived, it brought itemized interest and a pen. Aftermath, boundaries and clean paperwork. First order of peace. I changed my number like I was entering witness protection from group chats. New email, new voicemail that says, if this is about charity, put it in writing. My spam filter treats the word restructure like a raccoon at the door. I freeze my credit so hard Equifax sneezes. 2-factor on everything. Passwords become therapy sentences. It will never sign minutes I didn't attend! Petty flourish. Therapy gets the deluxe package. I sit down and empty a year of but their family onto a couch that has seen worse. We sort responsibility from proximity. She says, you didn't cause this. I say, but I escalated it. She says, you told the truth. We applaud boundaries like they're an Olympic sport.
My homework is one line. Say no like a period, not a paragraph. Holidays get downsized to sanity. I send one message in October, not attending, wishing you health and honest spreadsheets. I am uninvited from Thanksgiving and my blood pressure drops 3 points. In December, the only doorbell is mail delivering a boring letter that says records updated. Boring is my new kink. A few relatives try the reunion tour. Water under the bridge? There is no bridge. There's a crosswalk named restitution. Use it. I keep everything in writing, which ruins their favorite hobby, revisionist history. They send feelings. I return forms. Donors do what my family pretended to do. Build something real. PTA moms, a church across town, and a CPA who terrifies me in a good way launch a legit fund with bylaws, conflicts policy, receipts that smell like paper, not acrylic. They ask me to join the board. I say no with love. I'll donate. I'll read your 990 like it's romance. But my treasurer hat is retired to a beach with sunscreen. Clean paperwork becomes a hobby. I scrub my name off directories like I'm exfoliating the internet. Secretary of State portal finally reflects my freedom. I print it and file under a tab labeled peace like it's minimalist art. I set Google alerts for my own name because paranoid is preventive care. Anytime a cousin types trees, my phone growls. My house gets a shrine to petty closure. One corkboard with 3 items. The first demand letter stamp, my notarized nope, and a post-it that says call your bank before your aunt does. It's corny. It's also how I sleep. I set a new family policy. No job references, no co-signing, no can we put this on your card, no, you're good with computers. I am not good with computers. I am good at forwarding emails to investigators. My love language is CC. Occasionally, someone slides into my DMs asking, do you feel bad? I feel accurate. Facts are calmer than feelings. The jokes kept me sane. The receipts did the work. And when the chair account posts, today I supported more than their programs, I held still. I double tap and log off. The last administrative spa day is credit monitoring nicknames. I label alerts with petty titles. Bridesmaid dress watch, Disney detector, rent radar. Every ping is either nothing or a cousin learning the word budget. Either way, my phone and I are on the same team now. I stop replaying their speeches and start replaying the sound of a stamp. The notary's thump was my baptism into boundaries. My name is clean on paper and cleaner in my head. I'm not the treasurer of their vibes. I'm the archivist of my peace. The charity wasn't a charity. It was a mirror that showed me the last person I'm ever protecting again is the liar wearing my last name. If you want the step-by-step on pulling 990s without crying, spotting Disney in a memo before it bites you, and setting boundaries that actually stick, watch the follow-up breakdown. Subscribe for more true story chaos, where the jokes land, the receipts talk, and karma charges interest.